Ladies and gents, welcome back. A new campaign has begun on behalf of Tamara Lich to help her through this time of relentless persecution by the Trudeau government. A new campaign here on Give, Send, Go, supporting Tamara Lich, campaign created by Canadian Friends. The funds from this campaign will be received by Tamara Lich. The campaign reads, "Hello, freedom-loving people. As I'm sure you're aware, Tamara Lich has been incarcerated once again for fighting for our freedoms. She accepted the JCCF George Jonas Freedom Award on June 16th, 2022. She was then arrested 11 days later on June 27th, 2022. Since being incarcerated, she has lost her job, which is causing her and her family financial strain. Tamara has made many great sacrifices for this country and the world. Her only goal is to restore freedom, that word our government despises. Tamara has become a political prisoner, and we cannot predict what will happen next. So let's stand up and support her and her family with some financial support as they go through these difficult times. While she takes the heat for all freedom-loving Canadians, let's show her how much support and how much we appreciate her strength and sacrifices. Donate today to provide some financial relief and support for Tamara and her family while we continue to fight for freedom. This fundraiser is approved by her lawyer, Keith Wilson, QC. So this is a campaign going on, and it's already reached $10,000. Let's see how far we can get this campaign in the near future and see just where, well, we all know what happened to two campaigns that she had for her, for the Freedom Convoy, reached $10 million twice in about a month's time as the Canadian government tried shutting it down. But this time it's actually for Tamara, and it's for her relief in this situation. We know she'll be having a bail hearing. I believe it's on Thursday. We'll see what happens with that. She's been put again in custody and denied bail once again, and this is all pre-trial, ladies and gents. This is not a person who has been convicted of any crime here. This is a person simply being accused of a crime. But yeah, that is the case here on Twitter. So many people in support of Tamara Lich. Articles being written here. Rex Murphy, Tamara Lich is no danger. Unequal application of the law is. We have here Epoch's Time posting this by Preston Manning, the unconscionable persecution of Tamara Lich. If an award were given annually to the perpetrators of the greatest injustice against a Canadian citizen, the leading candidates for receiving it in 2022 would be those responsible for the relentless persecution of Tamara Lich concerning her involvement with Freedom Convoy protesting Ottawa's vaccine mandates. The action of the persecutors in this case may be described by the awkward word unconscionable, meaning barbarous, excessive, outrageous, preposterous, uncivilized, unethical, unfair, and unjust. Since the attitude of the Trudeau government towards individual Canadians very much depends on their gender and race, let the record show that Tamara is a female and is of Métis heritage. Not that that matters, because if we look at Trudeau's history, if you don't step in lockstep with what his agenda is, it doesn't matter about that. Here's a perfect example. Jody Wilson-Raybould, a native Canadian who was the Attorney General of Canada, the head justice put in charge of the legal system, and who gets prosecuted? Well, she went after SNC-Lavalin, and she said, no, I'm going to prosecute this case. Well, that wasn't good. That didn't go in lockstep with Trudeau and his agenda, so she was kicked to the curb, as well as some of her other colleagues in that scenario. With these characteristics, And if she was being hounded by a conservative administration for involvement in a left-wing protest, Tamara Lich would by now have been lionized by the Trudeau Liberals as a freedom martyr, made the subject of many sympathetic full-length documentaries by the CBC, granted an honorary degree by some university, and nominated for the Order of Canada. And we all realize that this is the fact. It's completely biased one way. And, well, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Instead, she was unjustly arrested in February for participating in the organization of a legitimate public protest against a misguided federal government policy, handcuffed and transported by two burly homicide detectives to the Carleton Remand Center, described by those familiar with its interior as a hellhole, and incarcerated there for 18 days. After several delays, she was finally granted a bail hearing where she entered the court shackled in handcuffs, accompanied by guards, lest this 5 foot tall grandmother attempt a daring escape from custody. Oh God, this is funny. Such hearings, even in the most serious cases, usually take only a few hours, but Tamara's bail hearing lasted the whole day, giving the prosecution ample opportunity to rehearse the alleged sins of the accused in graphic detail, primarily for the benefit not of the court, but of the legacy media. And we all know that the media has been running their slanderous lies, and then police have been using the media as representation of what's going on in the world and using that as evidence, and then the police citing that evidence, and then the media turning around and running that as evidence by the police. And this is it's ridiculous. And what I'll do is this is a long article, so I'm going to leave this in the description down below so you can read the entirety of this this post by Preston Manning. But here we are today. We have a new support Tamara Lich campaign going on Give, Send, Go, of course, not on GoFundMe, because we know the reputation that they have. So Give, Send, Go has better security now, so I wouldn't be worried about that just at this time. But definitely give to this campaign. Let Tamara and her family know that Canada is supporting her in her efforts. And well, in these troubling times, and troubling times for Canada, because this is, if anything, this should be sending a message to all Canadians that this is the rule of law in Canada. It doesn't matter who you are. It matters well what side of the aisle you sit on, and what political message you have to bring forward, and that is how the law will look upon you. And if you don't believe me, well, we can look at recent cases where people who were completely dangerous in the Ottawa area were released and then went on to commit further crimes. And I'm not going to get into this because it's a tragic case. But again, I'll leave a link in the comments, in the description down below, where you can read this story as well. Very tragic case in Ottawa, where homicide detectives and the justice system couldn't keep this person from having bail, even though they were clearly a dangerous individual, and went on in the same time that Tamara Lich has been kept behind bars. So please go over there and donate. This is all I have for you on this morning. We'll leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.